Hello everyone. In this video, I am going to discuss about the importance of crystallography. Especially, what are the applications of this crystallography and why we have to study this crystallography. Those points I am going to discuss in this video. Crystallography is a branch of science which deals with the structure of the crystals or structure of the materials. Okay, so this is very important topic and very fundamental topic in solid state physics and material science, because most of the properties of the materials like magnetic properties, optical properties, electrical properties, all the properties can be explained with the help of crystal structure of the material. Especially the engineering students has to read this topic, because if you take mechanical people, they have to study the mechanical properties or strength of the materials, which also related to the structure. And civil engineering students also, they deal with the bricks and ceramic materials which are used in the construction. Okay, so those properties of the ceramic materials and bricks also explained with the help of crystal structure of the materials. And in electronic industry also, the silicons and different types of other semiconducting materials can be discussed and can be explained with the help of the properties of those materials will be explained with the help of this crystallography only. So that is the reason I am interested to tell you why to study this crystallography and how important it is. Yes, let us see one by one. First of all, this is useful to identify different types of elements or minerals. If you see in this figure, zinc, which is having a hexagonal structure, and iron with the BCC structure, nickel with FCC, silicon with the tetrahedral structure, and plastic, glass or amorphous materials. The structures of these materials are unique. Okay, so with their structure we can know the what type of material it is, what is the structure of this material. So let us assume some archaeologists are found some material, okay, when they are digging something. Okay, so you can find out the structure of this material with the help of the crystallography. And this is also useful to study the atomic structure of any material. You can take solid materials as well as biological compounds also. Biological compounds like virus, proteins and huge protein complex structure also can be studied with the help of crystallography. And this is also useful to study variety of materials such as membranes, liquid crystals, fibers, glasses, liquids, gases and quasi-crystals. And it provides complete details about the atomic packing, means how the atoms are packed in a given material can also be studied. And interestingly, not only about the presence of atoms, it also tells about how they interacting, means what is the distance between two different atoms, okay, how they are related, how they are interacting, what is the effect of one atom on the another. Okay, so all these kind of parameters can be studied with the help of crystallography. You can see a protein complex on the screen. The crystallography also useful to study the geometrical details of the huge protein complexes also, not only regular materials, regular solid materials, it also useful to study the geometrical details like interatomic distances, means what is the distance between two atoms and what are the bond angles between them and what is the length of the bonds. Okay, so these details of the huge protein complexes can also be studied with the help of crystallography. And most importantly in biology, it is used to design the drugs actually. Okay, for example, recently we are seeing this COVID-19. So first of all, before they get the medicine, they studied the structure of the virus. Okay, so after getting the structure, they started designing the drug. This much important it is. Okay, so if we know the structure, then only you can design the drug. Now let us see how this crystallography and crystalline of the materials related to the chocolate. Okay, this is really interesting. Basically we know the cocoa butter is an ingredient which is used in the chocolate. This cocoa butter crystallizes in 6 different forms, but only one structure only melts presently in the mouth, and which give the surface sheen and crisp hardness that makes it very tasty. So this tasty crystal form is actually not so stable. However, so it tends to convert into the more stable form, but that stable form is very dull, which has a soft texture and melts only slowly in the mouth, producing a coarse and sandy sensation on the tongue. You can see in the figure also. Okay, so you can see that white layer and a chocolate. Okay, so that is the unstable, untasty but stable structure. Okay, so if the chocolate stored for a long time or at a warm temperature, so this kind of thing can be happened. This is called fat blooming. Okay, so which can be identified as a white filmy residue that results from the recrystallization. Okay, so which is converting from unstable state to the stable crystal structure. So these chocolate makers thus have to use a sophisticated crystallization process to obtain the most desirable crystal form, the only one accepted by the consumers. Okay, so this is how this crystallography and crystallization of the materials related to the crystallography. And you can see here in the diagram this cocoa butter, milk powder and sucrose. These are the ingredients generally people use to make the chocolates. After the making of this chocolate, when you keep the chocolate at a high temperature, so this cocoa butter will move away from the milk powder and sucrose, and it will come and occupy onto the surface, and it forms as a layer. You can see it on the figure. So the white layer on the top of the chocolate. Okay, this process is called fat blooming. In fact, chocolate with the fat bloom is not only visually unappearing, but also impacts the flavor and textural qualities, which are important determinants of consumer preferences. So finally, as I said, so these chocolate makers, they have to use some sophisticated crystallization process to get the most desirable crystal form, which gives us very taste. So this is how this crystallography related to the formation of the chocolate. Next one, on the screen you can see a Curiosity rover, so which is launched by NASA on the Mars. So this Curiosity rover is equipped with a X-ray crystallography diffractometer, which was launched in 2012. It collects some soil samples from the Mars, and it analyzed that with the help of diffractometer. So the results suggested that the soil samples which are collected from the Mars, which are matching with the basaltic soils of Hawaiian volcanoes on the Earth. In this way, crystallography also having many applications in astronomy and astrophysics to study the celestial bodies. Not only these discussed applications, and crystallography is having many applications in many areas like pharma industry. As I said, to design the drugs, it is very much useful to study the structure of the viruses, and also in fashion clothing industry and mineralogy and electronic devices. You know, as per my knowledge, in all, 45 scientists have been awarded the Nobel Prize over the past century for work that is either directly or indirectly related to this crystallography. So we have to thank them for their individual contributions that crystallography has come to underpin all the sciences. Today, this crystallography remains a fertile ground for new and promising fundamental research. So by knowing the structure only, a researcher can proceed to further studies to carry out the research. I hope you got idea now how important the crystallography is in solid state physics as well as in material science. So thank you for watching.